Yeah, but you that was in 96, taken in 96.
At their wedding, yeah.
I remember that picture, but I guess I just never noticed their wedding. They never went to get yeah. Well, mine didn't need our mom. I don't have much of a mouth. Yeah, I've been told that too. No, that was Dad when we went back to you guys. All of a sudden, we were going up the steps. Bam! Who did it now? It was either Pam or Steve. We all had to freaking read it. I got sick.
And then me and Roy had to smoke, and he stole the ashtray.
And I couldn't figure out, she woke me up at.
I can't be here for all meetings.
Yeah. 10 o'clock and about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
She woke me up,
Hi, good, how are you?
yeah, they're
In there?
right on the corner, but I saw Danny a second.
I saw Daniel up there, can't miss him.
So you used your razor, huh? It works, doesn't it?
Works good on that side.
Good.
See, it's kind of rough now. Once you get it trained again.
Actually, we had these, programs for both of us about 7 or 8 years ago, and I cannot imagine if people haven't done that because it's still crazy. But
We were surprised that we weren't married that long.
no, well, we were both alone for 10 years before a roller skating roller skating friend introduces, and the rest is history, you know. And then different ones have different stories. One of the guys told in an email, said, "Yeah, I he really wasn't dating or anything," and then he comes and he's telling me he really met this nice lady, and so it's just one of those things, and so it's just just said, yes, it did. Our wedding anniversary is the 13th. I mean, what and he just said, you cannot have we talked about it. He told everybody about that, so he went just a week ago.
Right.
But I'm just gonna talk to his brother.
He actually just like Dave went from being born to now.
I think I saw him, he's standing outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Joey was scheduled to play that next day this season.
That's what he was talking about, because we usually, yeah.
But he had a good weekend because he had shot a really good round on Saturday. Did they have a tournament in the shoot? He said, I need to shoot a wow. And then have it on another score. So it's kind of cool, not so cool.
Yeah.
You know, he called me up on Sunday. Great golfing. Stuff like that, because he was just talking. I said, well, we were talking about some other things. Oh, sorry. Visit my other brother while I'm in Chicago. He had an annual trip out there in August. Of course, halfway between, so we can have fun with my son too. Kind of made it family.
I had made him close pitch.
I found that stuff. It's in his bag.
Yeah, I had made that. I made him.
We were wondering when we put it on.
That was to keep the grips dry.
I'm going to ask people's forbearance here as I hook this up to power and get this ready to go.
Thank you for the history. We were wondering where it came from.
I had made him for Myers.
Since she wasn't gonna flash. What does that mean?
What is this supposed to be? He did.
Well, he asked for a second one, so he must be.
We're too cheap to get another one.
Yeah.
I'll go with the cheapness out of my one.
Yeah.
And of course, he ran.
That was a Tuesday.
That's today.
Yeah. And that was from the city. Oh, he took it serious. He was born there. No sign that.
He went down to Arizona. He would always give me feedback of this, just in case, anything happens, here's the back of this, where we can take over. All the formats, all the organized. Somebody had to do it.
I know you.
I can see that. I had to pay him 3 times. I'd like to see. You just see champions beat me all because we won. But that was that. So I.
He was out there doing that. He did his Harvard. He would hit right on him. We were never gonna run all that.
That's why when you go through this, he says, I'm just gonna hit down the road. You guys hitting that car because you guys are real old.
He was worse than walking right up at the end.
Yeah.
Like, he was a really upbeat guy.
Yeah. Well, he always kind of had some course spot. I think those.
Oh, God, I was actually no funny story. We're in the clubhouse.
Mike, who has the horses? Lisa, right? Or was it, yeah, Lisa. I was right.
You don't have them anymore.
But they, right. I thought it was Lisa that had them.
I don't know, did your dad ride horses very often? No, I know that.
he did when he was younger on and off because Graham Allen had the horses on there when he was growing up.
So you know, I see him in the film, he's trying to get his car.
Right.
Yeah, that plays there.
But that hasn't, I was there with my daughter. Wow. Robert, if you guys just heard Lisa's husband, we're not that far. Took us out. We had 2 horses, so it wasn't like we could sell them down.
Something that comes like base schools on 61.
Yeah. And he enjoyed that stuff.
We're gonna hand out the addresses after. I just didn't want to post it online.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for that. Now we know the story behind it.
Yeah, great, but you're getting a little red in the face.
The guy that stand right here, before when you go to the green, just stop, open it up, put your club on it, and just sit down so you don't set it on the green.
Okay.
Basically, you just keep the club.
You guys stand together. Stand together.
What's that?
Stand together.
I got it. We wonder where he got that thing. The thing is so cool.
There you go. We're just broadcasting live, so you can just stand there. You could model, you could tell a story, you could do, yeah, there we go.
Grab him in the
If it's
butt.
live, I'm just an idiot.
Go ahead, Peter, get one of both.
I don't know what story to tell.
Yeah, there we go. Very nice. And you're taking regular pictures, right? Perfect. Perfect.
What's that?
We get you and Roy, Noreen, and
Yeah.
Amy and David up here.
Related birthday.
Get you all together.
Yeah, it was last spring. But we had all flying on Saturday.
I am Cheryl's son,
Oh, okay.
and so I live in Duluth. So the rest of my sisters, I have 3 younger sisters.
Okay.
They're in Arizona and Florida, respectively, and they will gather for the Arizona service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sure. What's your name?
Noreen.
Noreen. And are you related or?
I'm Clark's first daughter.
Oh, there you go. I you gotta say hi because we have some people that couldn't attend, family in Nevada and places like that. So I'm streaming it Facebook Live. This is your boyfriend here?
That's my husband.
How long have you 2 been dating?
You better answer that one.
Over 30 years.
There we go. She's a keeper. That's great.
If it's on.
That's great. Well, welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Nice to meet you.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm just the person
horrible
behind the.
circumstances.
Huh?
Under horrible circumstances.
But you know, I was in town for Mother's Day and saw them both, you know, Clark had a wonderful last day. I mean, it was just they were so comfortable and good companions as far as their routine went. He golfed in the morning. He came home. They went to church. They went to. Took her out to eat, and he was sitting watching golf on TV, and she was organizing just like he was. And then the next thing she knows, she said she never heard anything, and the next thing she knows, she found him on the ground and he had passed. So there was no struggle or anything. And you know, for Clark, as active as he was, he wouldn't have wanted to linger or anything like that.
Quietly?
And so how did you know Clark?
Through Roy.
Right?
He was best man at our wedding.
Very good.
Known him for quite a few years and met Clark a few times. Yeah.
Sure. What's your name?
Mark.
Mark, and your girlfriend here?
I'm his wife, Terry.
I know.
Girlfriend.
I figured you two had been dating for a little while.
Yeah, for a while.
Very good. Well, it certainly is more of a celebration of his life than anything.
Oh yeah.
So,
He was a spark plug.
he was. I am his wife Cheryl's son.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I have 3 younger sisters. They are in Arizona and Florida, respectively, so they will gather when they have the Arizona service.
Oh, okay.
Down there. Because, you know, he golfed down there and
Sure.
they had a circle of friends. They always snowbirded down there. And so they wish they could be here, but if they want to, they can watch
Video.
the video. Yeah.
One more line, guys.
I will move. It's all right. I am. I'm moving. Yes, that's.
Talk to you later, Cheryl. How do you do? Crazy. Now, he looks familiar, but I don't know.
That's my brother Joel. This is Gerald.
Oh. Well, so many.
Yeah.
He's got that new spike.
It changes daily.
I know. Well, depending on which direction the wind is coming from, right? No, it's just that so many people and so many his golf buddies, you know, I may know their name, I may not even know who they are. And even relatives, and friends, anybody I haven't seen for a while or something. It's good to see you, John. Okay, let me see. I love it. But, and you know the story about the 56 Chevy, right?
I heard.
Okay.
Another one is hers. My sister Judy.
Okay. I know.
How did they good last time? And then her husband. Yeah, and then before that it had been 8 years.
Hi. So your group of guys here, I am Clark's stepson. His wife, Cheryl, is my mom.
Oh.
And so what I'm doing is I'm filming. There's several relatives. I have family. I have 3 younger sisters that live in Florida, in Arizona, and they're going to participate in the service there in Arizona. You know, that's where they snowbirded.
Oh, yeah.
Down there. And so what's your story in connection to Clark?
I've known him from the Phelan Golf Course for years.
Sure.
And he always had little tournaments and stuff going, and
Always.
He was quite active, and it was a lot of fun playing in a group with Clark.
Well,
Yeah.
Clark, my mom, and he were perfect companions because she's very social too, and so they just had the best time. And then he's very meticulous, you know, with everything being organized, and she is too. So it was just a privilege to be part of his extended family. And anyone, I mean, that guy could make acquaintances and friends with everybody. He was a charmer. And what's your name?
Ernie Lamson,
Ernie. And then how were you connected to Clark?
Phelan Golf Course.
Sure.
He always called me the old man.
The old man.
Yeah.
Well, and
I see. I'm actually a good deal older than him.
I see.
I'm 13 years older than him. I'm 95.
Very
I'm
good.
still playing golf.
Sure.
Not as well.
Well, and I wondered if I see that you're a veteran, and of course Clark was too, but you weren't connected in that way.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
He went over on Normandy.
I saw that. I see that on your shirt. Very
Well,
good.
yeah.
So Normandy, which day?
Our outfit went into Normandy the day before D-Day.
Right.
We jumped in and they were spread out, but I missed it.
Well, I'm
Lost a lot of buddies.
I'm a former history teacher, and so you know when the anniversaries would come up, it was like we had a lesson I mean, on Normandy as well, but like the anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima. Well, they had like we would do like current events and look at articles, and the kids, I'd have them read, and they'd go, "That's Iwo Jima," and I go, "Oh no." I said, we're going. You're going to be going to see family here at Christmas time. We're all going to work on this pronunciation so that you don't embarrass yourselves." And the kids.
February 19th, wasn't it?
Right. And so what would happen is these kids talking, they said, "Now, Grandpa, did you?" And what happened is I had a kid come back from Christmas, and he goes, "Mr. Martin, my dad was not at my grandpa was not at Iwo Jima. He was on the Bataan Death March." And I went, "Did you learn a little something?" He says, my grandpa was a hero. Yeah. I said, but there are also other people that made many sacrifices. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to in a small way stimulate that conversation, because I mean, people don't always talk about that.
You ever watch The Bridge Too Far?
Right.
In there's an episode where the Frenchman asked the captain at the bridge if he could spare a medic. That was my captain.
Right. On Saving Private Ryan.
I don't like that one because you don't wear captain's. You don't wear captain's bars in your.
That's a target.
Well, there was. I live in Duluth, and there was a judge, old-time judge, Judge Haney, Roger Haney, and he was on day one on the landing, and he evidently was one of the characters, but their landing craft got blown up, and so he got thrown into the water, but he survived, but they used to have that debate years ago about whether or not it was moral or right to drop the bomb,
saved a million.
Well, and that was the thing, was that a guy in church who was island hopping in the Pacific, he said, we were going to be in the second wave. And the thing is, I mean, I know a little bit about military history. I said, the second wave, it wasn't going to be till the 7th or the 8th wave. And so the thing is, people don't seem to realize that saved so many lives. There were, and generations.
Japanese lives.
Exactly. And I said, you can't take it out of the context of the time. I said, it did end the war.
I got over to Nagoya Air Base in Japan in 1952, just seven years after the war. And one of the Japanese guys, technician that worked in my communications squadron, he said that his job as a young guy, dynamite was going to be strapped on his back, and he was going to run down and jump on a tank when they came in. All the civilians, just like on Okinawa, they were part of it too, and they were going to hit that southern island of Kyushu and work their way up north to
But all those plans, the estimated casualties, it would have been hard to imagine. And if they had done the conventional warfare, you never would have been able to occupy the island the way it was.
You could never second guess Truman for making that decision.
I was headed that way.
Huh?
I was headed that way.
Sure.
In fact, the guys from Europe, some of them ended up over in the South Pacific.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have needed them.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, I said, the world would have been so much different to have lost generations.
Well, like the guy that got hung up on the church steeple.
Yeah.
The longest day.
That parachute.
I got a. Just tell him. I went into that church a couple months ago.
Right.
And there were pictures on the wall when I came in. There was one picture on the wall that was fascinating. It was a picture of a hand, just a hand, just about from here on down. I looked at it, and that hand looked familiar. and I went over and I looked at it close. It was my hand, because that ring showed up. And my camera was. I've emailed several of our guys over there. In fact, I just got a picture of it from a fella that they took a picture, he and I, and he wants me to autograph the picture and send it back to him. And I got my arm over him, and that ring shows up.
Sure.
Great story.
Oh yeah, but well, my brother was a navigator in B-24. Never dropped a bomb.
Sure.
They dropped tinfoil, or chaff it was called.
Right.
And but he crashed in England, and the fellow that set up a memorial for him in England was in the movie Band of Brothers.
Right.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your service. And you know, I used to tell my students, I said, the greatest pacifists are the ones who are soldiers, because they know the sacrifices and what goes in. I said the World War I veterans, I said they would have done anything to spare World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And so, kids, they seem to think that there was heroism and sacrifice involved, but it was your duty. And then the other thing is, you just pray that some sort of conflict like that doesn't occur again.
Got the Congressional Medal.
Huh?
One of our guys got Congressional
Right.
Medal.
And we had two in Duluth, and they would both come to my school. And the thing was, kids would ask, they'd say, so how did you play? And he says, you didn't. You figured you weren't going to make it, and you had buddies to save and things to do, and you just did and he happened to survive. But, there are posthumous awards too, and they said, you just really don't think, you just kind of go with your training. And
one of the guys that got an award that jumped on a hand grenade that somebody pulled a pin on, and it was good. He saved his company.
Well, what it takes is more than bravery. It takes unconditional love to make that kind of sacrifice.
Oh yeah, I know it.
I mean, it does. That's what it is. Thank you guys very much.
My wife was born in Duluth.
Well, I originally grew up in Bloomington. That's where my dad and mom lived for the most part. But I live in the Central Hillside area. My backyard, I can see the big lake.
I played golf at almost every golf course.
Right, and Duluth is beautiful as far as that goes. Sure.
Oh, I played in
I actually
over tournament up there one year. It was great.
I actually live about a block away from the Lester River, which is what that Lester Park.
Yeah, I played the North End.
Sure. Well, when Clark and Mom would come up, he'd go out.
Sure.
I was not a golfer. I was a school teacher who didn't golf, so that was
Lester Park and. And regardless if it was uphill or what, you might break just the opposite.
I know it. It was a dangerous thing.
Thank you, guys. I'll let you visit. Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You said you're a stepson?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so would you point out your mother to me? I'm a golf friend here. So.
Sure. Come with me. She's right up here. Both of you. There we go. Sure.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh yes. I gotta show you this. Remember this?
This is my mom, Clark's wife.
Her name is
Cheryl. And they were perfect companions because Clark, if you played golf with Clark or ever saw how he organized his equipment, you know how meticulous he was. Yep. Same kind of deal there. So as Clark is categorizing and cataloging and archiving his balls and his towels and all of his gear, She was doing the same thing when it came to the female side of the household. So
He learned it all from me.
he did.
I'm
what-
his big brother.
Oh, you're Clark's big brother?
Yeah.
Oh, very. What's your first name?
Ron.
Ron. Mike Martin. I am her firstborn.
Well, we're not brothers by blood, but we've been best friends since 1940.
Well, that's the thing, is that if you know Clark, the extended family and the affection that everyone has, he had such charisma, and so you couldn't hang around him very long without having a smile on your face.
Well, one thing I really appreciated about Clark, he went to Arizona.
Right.
And
Yep.
and we talked about him going to Arizona, and he would say, well, Cheryl hasn't traveled as much as he had.
Right.
And so they tried to take a different way to and from Arizona all the time,
Oh.
so she could see different stuff. I really appreciated that he would go out of his way to do that for her.
Well,
That was pretty fun.
there's going to be a service in Arizona.
Nice.
And so I have two sisters that live there with children of their own. So we had great grandchildren, and that's where they snowbirded. And then I have a sister, Sherry, that is in Florida, and they will all be going to the service there in Arizona because she had friends there.
Oh,
as well.
sure.
Sure. And what was your names,
I'm
guys?
Dick Riemenschneider and
Bob Marion.
So now, what's your story? What was? Give me a Clark story.
I've been golfing with Clark for 40 years.
Right. And I'm a school teacher, but all those school teachers, they golf, but I never did. And but I know he could be anywhere, and he'd look for, he's a spare, and he could charm his way into, and then the next time they were just fast friends, and so it was perfect. So no, he when he passed, he had the perfect day. He went golfing.
I talked to him.
Oh, sure. Very good. Very good.
what do they determine is the cause?
I don't know that they did, but the thing was, she went kind of in the office room to take care of some things, and he was watching golf on TV, had his headphones on, of course, because it was so hard of hearing. And the next thing she knows, he was not there in the living room, and she went and looked for him in the bedroom, and he was on the floor, and he hadn't hit his head or anything like that, but she's got great hearing, so there was never any struggle or whatever, and he was gone. So I mean, as active as he was, and he'd had health scares before, it was the perfect day. I mean, he wouldn't have liked to have been restricted in any way. But here, come and meet my mom.
I talked to him that day, and he was happier than heck. He had a 60-ton
Clark's the one that never broke stride.
This is Facebook Live.
Walking up,
So what happens is it's being
kept on
broadcast,
walking.
and so it doesn't rely on memory at all. So I don't have anything like that,
He says he's
My name's Mike, by the way. You're what? Ben. And so what's your Clark story? What's your connection?
Roy and I are best of buddies.
There we go.
Name I probably listed.
He worked with the sheriff's department in Sacramento. I worked with the LAPD.
I see.
We have that in common.
Very good. Yep, a lot of supportive family and friends.
Okay, now tell me. No, I'm sorry, I'm totally spacing. I know you, but what's your name?
Remember the Watts riot?
Yep. You caused that? No, you.
I was there.
Yeah. Well, that was a pretty dicey time.
Mary Ellen Holmes. And when my husband passed away in September,
You guys look like one out of 12
was
there.
there and he talked to me. And he
yeah,
said,
exactly.
I feel great. And I believe
Is that where that story took place? 1 out of 12 was Oakland? Or LA, right.
Three-man car.
Here, you got to whip that out because they'll want to see that. But no, I recognize the uniform, but there you are. So, the TV show, 1 out of 12, I got to get so I don't get the... Now, which one is you? Right there. The one in the glasses. There you go. There you go. Still the man in black.
Yeah. 1 is a Central Division, 2 is Rampart, 3 is University. Every division has a number. And then Adam is a 2-man patrol car.
Right.
A T car is white hats, they're traffic.
Right.
And then the number 12 is in that division. They start with 1 and go down to 99. So you can tell if it's in the upper or the middle or the bottom of the division.
Well, that emergency TV show, they kept talking about Rampart and calling in. Is that from the same
area? East side, and there's a lot of problems out there.
Well, I understand.
Gang activity and stuff.
But so that's where that's the geographic location of where that was. It was the same general area. Oh, cool! I did not know that.
You got West LA division. You got Van Nuys. You got
I did
Devonshire.
not know that.
There's 17 divisions.
Sure.
Hang in there. And if you do either Facebook or email, talk to Roy or Tammy or something.
I'm gonna, when the service is going, I'm gonna go and plug it in so I don't run out. The battery will probably run out before anything else does. So I just figured, while people are speaking, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, did you? Okay, that was one of, one, I don't know what else.
But now, are you,
no, he's just,
if you want to,
I mean, my daughter.
Clark has a Facebook page. Do you have a Facebook page?
You know, I have, but I don't use it. I look at people that send things to me. And,
well, this is, as soon as I turn off the camera, it will save it to watch the video. Now, the other thing is, I can't go and, I can't broadcast live the service at Fort Snelling on case I'm going there. But what I'll do is I'll record it and then I'll broadcast it. So that'll come on later.
yeah, I've got a little problem that I got to deal with today.
Yeah.
Less than $200 an hour.
That's a problem.
I haven't been working for many, many months. Because of an accident that I had. Doctor suspended me until I had my surgery.
Sure. I know who this is. You gotta say hi.
Hi, and then my daughter.
Hi.
My daughter, my son Mike.
Oh,
but
Of course I remember you.
Yeah. You've changed a bit.
Yes, he has.
Well, I'm older. I've aged a little bit, and you guys look
golly,
wonderful.
We haven't aged
Well,
a
no.
bit.
And the thing is, I'm streaming this live, so your children and grandchildren will be able to see this now.
But anyway, so the girls they wanted to come.
Cool.
But I just said, I'm going to need you. They're coming up.
This is great.
This key to longevity.
My girls were so.
I use a keyless entry. No, what's the key?
Because you were down.
I do that. This is my sister's in-laws, and so they came to the service, and they're in Arizona too. I haven't seen them in several years, but I recognized both of them, so it's great. I was then I went, I know who this is. These are the Hicks.
You never told us the secret about it.
You know what?
That's cool. Very cool.
Now, what is your connection with Roy?
This is Clark's wife. That's my mom. So I'm his stepson, and I'm the oldest in my mom's family. So we're a blended family, and so I'm the one who lives here, and the other ones live in Arizona. But it's just been great to reconnect with them. And like I say, I have 3 younger sisters, and they and their families, and they will be participating in the Arizona version where they used to snowboard. It is so nice to see you. In fact, I'm live streaming, so I know that Brandon and Mackenzie and Gary and Mary, eventually they'll go, oh, there they are.
Because we heard Mary was coming.
but now she's explained they're going to kind of wait. And the others, Lisa, I guess, is going
Well, Lisa and
for a reunion. In a couple
right,
weeks.
that's the story.
She said she'll need them more later.
That's right, and they're
that's
going to
true.
have a hand in planning the Arizona service, just because they had so many friends down there,
That's true.
and then you are down there too,
Yeah,
right?
Not
Well,
till later.
I know, same thing with them. But then I said, so here I am filming, and I'm going, whoa, there they are.
Oh, yeah,
but it's
there
been, for you and I, it's
Yeah,
been 15, 20 maybe.
Yeah. Are you still living in Duluth?
I am, yep. Yep, very nice to see you. And I will go and tell Mary and Gary for sure. I'll say, you're going to have to look at the film. Exactly. But that was good. But it just happened. That's very wonderful to see you.
Well, now we have two people here. When we first saw it, senior sisters weren't here. It was only me, her, but now you're here. We know two people here.
Well, now, you're not a golfer, are you?
No, I'm not a baseball player.
But
either.
still I understand, but still the square dancing.
Well, we did. We gave up on it a few years ago.
Well, you can be a caller now.
We danced for about 22 years.
Oh, well, I remember that.
Yeah.
I absolutely remember that. Very nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Tournament, he came home. He got a phone call from his son, grandson, and the three of them were going to have and I asked him to and then got up and he said, I'm in the shower. We're going to go out to eat. He came home, watched PBS, and then he was chairs everywhere. We lived in the living room.
Oh, I gotta see the cutie pie. Hi there. I knew. I overheard. Well, here's the backpacks, and your mom goes, "Well, where's the baby?"
We didn't lose the baby. Here's a smile.
There we go. I see that. That was meant for me.
He's in a little bit of a quiet mood right now.
He's already had it.
Oh, has he?
No,
I hear that. Well, it's his son, yeah.
And then he's
See, Mom?
Yes.
I'm going to make a suggestion.
Yes.
If you come further this way, then the people that would like to sit, they can. And then they'll come and greet you.
Sure.
My mom, she doesn't usually take directions from me. She's more comfortable giving them.
That's the way moms are.
Hey, good to see you.
How's things going?
Very good.
Good. Well, you got quite a turnout here.
Hi there.
What a nice turnout.
Very nice
This is our neighbor across the street, Rose.
Right.
Hi, son Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Very nice to see you.
Very nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for coming.
I've seen your car in the driveway.
Yeah, and
I knew
now
somebody was there with her.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Good.
No, I live in Duluth, so I came down, and now they're going to have a service in Arizona too, where they snowbirded, and so two of my sisters are there with their families, and one is in Florida. They will come and help facilitate that, so I will walk.
When is that going to be?
To be determined once they get back there, and she kind of catches her breath. Thank you for coming. She is. Yeah, and she's got all kinds of people that are there for her. They've checked in, and so it's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll have to make sure she lets me know because I'm in Sun Lakes.
Right.
These guys are in Yuma.
Right. Oh yeah, she told me.
I told her.
Yeah. Sure. I'm going to go move her a little further up. Come a little further up, just so that people can fill in behind these other places. If you come up this way, perfect. Perfect. You can, yeah, I wouldn't sit in front of here. I'd sit back here. Here, I'll be the usher. You come with me.
Mike is here from Duluth.
No. I'm recording this for liability. What am I? You don't sue me. Here, why don't you have a seat right in here?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
That is so
Sure, why not,
wonderful.
sure.
Yeah, well, I'm used to that.
We'll be there.
You may take those glasses, or
Which they worry about. But ask them whatever. She's busy.
Yeah. He's the guy.
Yep. You saw the shrine out in front too. His high school yearbooks and some of the pictures of his trophies.
There were so many people out there.
Oh yeah. You sure can.
Okay.
You sure can. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Right, shot a 62 on Sunday. Shot one of the best runs of his life. He loved it, absolutely. And I have a nobody's gonna know it except for the people at the golf course. And you, because you probably got 55-gallon drums full of the things.
Oh, I have gone and organized those.
Have you?
So I know the story of those.
So he was saving them for when they he did
Come this way a little further.
He did a
Keep
video.
drifting back.
He did a video and showed all these bottles.
Yeah.
He would not believe. No, he would not believe. And he put that in his
Yeah.
And I just said, boy, I just
Right, because you haven't seen dumpster diving.
Oh yes, and that's exactly what I called it. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, no. I know exactly.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Jeff Parker.
All right. And you must have golfed with him.
I did.
I'm Mike.
I did.
I'm Cheryl's oldest son.
Okay, nice to
And
meet you.
so,
Our condolences.
Yep. But you know what? It was a perfect last day.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great time, and those caps, Mom says, you're gonna have to look at these. and they were perfect companions because they were both very meticulous, very organized.
Yeah.
And so she told me, she says, "Oh, he's got," and they discontinued the program.
I know, but he kept saving them because it's going to come back.
I'm going to make an appeal and see if it comes back.
I know.
So that was a good story, and that's perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to ask people to bear with me again so that I can go and set up the static portion. I'm not going to stand there and do anything but
I kid you not.
You're okay starting at human being.
If you call me Marilyn, it's working. I don't know anything.
I'll walk right by.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's what daughter.
Meet each other.
We're getting a picture. Yeah, it's just.
Roy didn't, and the truck broke down, or the car broke down this morning. Yep, I saw this all
Don't get seasick.
I think he was kidding. I said,
That's supposed to be there.
Is this supposed to be here?
It's part of his story.
You got it.
I know, I know.
There's a lot of stories.
Yes, there are. Aren't there always?
There are. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
There's Roy right there.
Yes.
Yep.
So I don't know if you're.
I need to talk to you on the phone or you got your name on the list or something. Well, tell me your name. Oh, I know. I know who you are.
Stuff all the time.
Yes, you did.
I got you afterwards.
Oh, well, for the important stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if they would. And this is from us. They put a little extra into it this time.
Well, you are golfing buddies.
That's right.
I am Cheryl's oldest son.
Oh, okay.
So I was among his many stepsons, you know, and so you are among his many brothers.
I golfed with him for many years. Yeah, we did.
Absolutely. He had as much charisma and made people comfortable and enjoyed their company as much as they enjoyed his.
That's right.
And so just a positive guy. And my mom and him were just really good companions, as meticulous as you know he was. Same kind of thing. So the routines and that she's not the MacGyver like he was, and kind of jerry-rigging things up. But when it came to him keeping his records and his golf balls organized and everything else, all of her housewares and collectibles, same thing. So
He's
it's
not
like,
collecting quite as many golf balls.
Yeah, not,
Used
you
to.
know, if he used
but now someone put his Powerade cap on there.
Oh, sure.
You know, all those things that even when they ended the program, he was still hoping that he could make an appeal and he could get more of the prizes that he could redeem them for.
She thought someone was left their cap there.
Yeah. Oh.
I was
Just need a Coke.
now I'm Clark's stepson, but the funeral home people came along and they go, "What is this?" And they go, "I'm gonna go and I said, "Don't." I said, "There's a story."
There's a story behind that.
That's better than the trash can that he'd be going through.
Yes. But the thing was now. So I'm staying with my mom at their house, and so she says, "Well, there's a couple of things," and then she says, "Will you look at this?" And she opens up the closet where he had these organized in cups and everything.
Probably got
Now
a couple thousand, right?
Tons. So we gave them to Roy, his son, and I said, "Do with them."
Knock yourself out.
No, he's always giving him caps off my bottles at the clubhouse.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, what are you going to do with that? Here you go.
I'm going to wait for the program to come back.
That's right. That's what he was doing.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Very nice meeting you guys.
Andrew, sorry for your loss.
Thank you. But having him in our lives, that was a big positive.
Right.
And so yes, we're disappointed that he's no longer with us. But his story is going to be fun to retell.
I don't think you'll ever run out of material.
No. Very nice to meet you guys.
One of a kind.
He was. But he was a special guy, but he had a gift for making other people feel special too, being with him. So, and he used to tell stories about all you guys. It's like a blur of me. For him, everybody was friendly and was a gift, and that's how he treated them too. Very nice to meet you.
So if you heard any art stories, that's me.
Okay, all right.
Probably the only one.
The Legend of Art. The Legend of Art, is that the deal? All right. I'm going to go and... Mom. Keep coming this way. So that they can find a place to sit down.
This is.
Haven't seen you. Yes, very nice to see you. Yep. You and your sister.
Got it all? Want a bungee cord?
Oh, And somebody brought him a bottle cap. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Family, family, family. And of course, the Phelan golfing guy. Thanks to everybody. He's laughing right now. Well, he didn't want you guys to miss golf.
have to get everyone calmed down, quieted down, make everybody sit, corral everybody. I walk in and you guys are all so well behaved. Good morning, everyone. Hang on, wait. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. For those of you that I have not had the opportunity to meet, my name is Reverend Jack Heidenreich, and as you know, we are gathered here today for a couple reasons. We are here to pay our respects, and we are also here today to gather together as family and friends, and hopefully offer each other some comfort and some support, because I know this is a really tough time for all of you, and I understand that perfectly. But most importantly, we are here today to celebrate the life of Clark Snuffy D. Smith. That's what I got here. Did he go by Snuffy? Is that what people called him?
All kinds of names.
So what should I all kinds of names, yeah. Depends on what kind of mood you were in, right? But
Snuffy quite a bit.
what should I use? What should I refer to him as?
Just call him Clark.
Works for me. Yeah. Clark is good. You can't go wrong there. Okay. Well, whoever he was to you, like I say, we're here to celebrate his life, and I'm going to talk to you really briefly about that in just a moment. But what we're going to do first is we're going to start off. Actually, I'm going to start off with just a short word of prayer, and I'm just going to ask you to bow your heads, and I will lead us in our opening prayer. So, God, we come before you today, and we thank you for Clark, and we thank you for the 82 years of life that he was blessed with. We thank you for the friendships, for the family ties, for the love and the laughter and all the good times and all the things that he brought into the lives of those that were fortunate enough to know him. And today we ask that you would please be present in the lives of everyone who's missing him. Not only those gathered in this building at this time, but for those that either couldn't make it or that came and had to leave already, we would like to pray for them as well. And we ask that you would give each person whatever they need individually to help them through this time. And may they know in their hearts that today Clark is just fine. He's healthy, happy, and well. He's reunited with his loved ones that have passed on before him. And the day will come that those that are missing him will see him again. So we ask your blessing on this gathering today, and we pray all of these things in your name. Amen. What we're doing here today, there's going to be a couple songs we're going to listen to. There are a few people that I'm going to call upon that are planning to speak. I've got a couple words to share with you, and we're going to basically, like I say, we're going to celebrate his life, and we're going to honor him, and we're going to remember and just look back on and give thanks for what he has brought into this world. So what I would like you to do in just a moment, we're going to play the first song, but I want you to think a little bit about Clark and what he meant to you. I'd like to be more specific. All of you could be someplace else right now. Some of you maybe even should be someplace else, but you're here, and that tells me that Clark was special to you. Now, some of you, he was the cornerstone of your world. Some of you have known him your entire life. Some of you, maybe he's someone that you would see periodically. Some of you maybe knew him some time ago, but you've kind of lost touch and you haven't seen him for a while, but you heard about this and you want to come and pay your respects. Whatever the case may be, think a little bit about what he has brought into your world specifically. Because no matter what we say here today, we're not going to be able to cover his whole life story. We're not going to be able to sum up who he was or what he brought into this world in a handful of paragraphs. And you can't really explain what somebody means to you simply with words. So instead of all of us trying to cover 82 years of life, I'm going to ask you to think specifically about who he was to you. And like I say, well, I'll kind of get a little more into that in just a moment. And I promise you, I won't take too much time. I'll be brief, I will, I promise. But let's go ahead and listen to the song. And like I say, take a minute and just think a little bit about what has brought you here today, and we'll go from there.
I want to actually read to you something here from the Old Testament, from the book of Ecclesiastes. You may know this, you might know it from the Bible, you might know it, got some baby boomers in here I see, you might know it from the song Turn, Turn, Turn. It was written by Pete Seeger and recorded by the Byrds. All of that, actually, the words in that song are right out of the text here, except for the words turn, 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 and I believe it's the last at the end where it says something like, I swear it's not too late, or I hope it's not too late. Anyways, but I'll tell you, I just want to read this real quick, and then I'll tell you why I thought this might be fitting. It says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. There is a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Now, there's a lot in there that I could mention, but I think the bottom line is this. I mentioned at the beginning that we're not really going to be able to cover Clark's entire story here today. And I was thinking about this the last couple days, trying to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to say here today. And the challenge is that my assignment today is to stand up here in front of all of you, and we've talked, the people that I've talked to, we talked a lot about how wonderful it is that, that he had 82 years and that he enjoyed life, had people that he loved and cared about, and that loved him and cared about him, that he got right up on the last day that he was golfing the morning that he passed away, doing something that he had just qualified, I believe, for senior tour or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, you know, like we could all be so fortunate that we would have, you know, love and laughter and happiness and family and friends and all that, and do the things we love, and to be able to be doing the things we love right up until our last days, or our last day, you know? I mean, it's really, that's a big deal. But in all seriousness, you know, I know that, I know you guys miss him terribly. And I wish I could stand up here and say something that would just instantly make this okay. I know I can't, and I know you don't expect me to do that, but I just feel bad, you know. I wish I had some magic words I could say that would fix this somehow. But in that text, it just kind of reminds us that, you know, we have all these different seasons and stages in our life, and there is a time, it says there's a time to laugh and a time to cry, there's a time to mourn and a time to dance, and it's true. And part of it, I've seen, you know, here today, like I see people clearly broken up, you know, hugging each other, tears, kind of not knowing what to say to each other, and then I'll turn around a few minutes later and I'll see the same people laughing, you know, and telling a story about Clark and laughing. And it's this amazing spectrum and range of emotions that we go through at a time like this. So, and I want to just say this part at the beginning and get this out of the way, that I know this is tough for all of you, but I just want to remind all of us, I won't say tell you this because I think we all know it in our heads, but for me it's hard to believe it in my heart when I lose someone. But what I want to remind us of is that if you have a heavy heart today, you're not always going to feel the way that you do right now. Little by little, there is a healing process. I'm not saying you're not always going to miss it. I'm not saying things are ever going to be the way they used to be, but I'm just saying that things don't remain the way that they are. Now, that being said, let's focus on celebrating Clark's life. I hear that term a lot. It always makes me pause for a moment because I think about celebrations as things like birthday parties and weddings and graduations and anniversaries and the good stuff. I don't think about having to go to a funeral home because someone I love and care about has passed away as a particularly celebratory event. But there's a certain way we can view this, and I want to look at it through this lens. Clark Snuffy D. Smith lived for 82 years, 7 months, and 12 days. He was born on the 20th of November, 1934 in St. Paul, Minnesota. By the way, if I get any of this wrong while I'm talking, or if I misspeak, or, you know, I want you guys to interrupt me and correct me. I mean it, okay? But 82 years, 7 months, and 12 days. I realize you would have loved to have him around for another 10, 20 years if possible. And I know we don't get to make those decisions, and I can't answer those questions, why things happen when they do. But my point is that certain people come into our lives and burn very brightly. You know, I was thinking about that. I was watching fireworks the other day, and I was thinking, like, you know, some you know, you kind of go, there's your normal just fireworks, and then there's some that are really cool, and there's some that are duds, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, and then there's that grand finale at the end, you know, the big, and it's kind of like that with people that we know. Some people are just, you know, our normal day-to-day folks that we interact with, and some people are duds. But some people really, you know, burn brightly, and they bring an awful lot of joy and happiness into our life. And I know for a fact that Clark was one of those people. Everybody I talk to, same thing. Everyone's got all these stories, and I mean, it's amazing. And that's why I asked you to think about who he was to you. Because the point here today is to focus on the 82 years and the 7 months and the 12 days that he lived, and we're not going to concern ourselves with the day he passed away. We're going to talk about his life here and what he contributed into your lives and the lives of so many others. You know, we have a full house here today, obviously, but there are a lot more people whose lives he touched throughout his journey here on earth. Sometimes it's hard to realize, some of you have only known him in his later years, sometimes it's hard to realize that once upon a time Clark was a baby. You know, he was a baby, he was a toddler, and he was a teenager, and, you know, and one of the things that I really liked, that I was thinking about what I had learned about his life, Roy told me that he always liked to take the detours, take the back roads, get off the freeway and see what's out there. But, you know, when you travel somewhere on a freeway, it's all pretty much, it doesn't matter what state you're in, Indiana, California, Maine, it's all pretty much the same idea. You're going down the freeway, and you'll see the exit sign, and there's a McDonald's, and there's a Shell station, and it's like that all over the country, you know. But when you get off the road, because those freeways were originally built to bypass these little towns where, you know, But if you get off, it's called the Blue Highways. The Blue Highways, it's a common term for people that travel the back roads, because on the old maps, maybe the new maps, I don't know, but we don't really have maps anymore, do we? We do it all on our phone. But those old Hudson maps that you used to buy at the truck stop and try to navigate wherever you're going, on those maps, the smaller highways, not the interstate, but the smaller highways that went through the original ones, that went through the little towns where you could find the diners and the little antique shops and the cool places where the people actually, instead of just somebody asking you if you want fries with your shake, those little cool places, those were the Blue Highways. In fact, there's a book called The Blue Highway about a guy that did such a thing, traveling around the whole country on back roads. But I mentioned all that because I thought that really told me a lot about Clark. It told me, number one, that he wanted to live life. He wanted to experience what was out there. He didn't want to just quick breeze by everything. He wanted to be part of it. He wanted to, and I would assume, and what I really learned was that how much he loved people. One of the things it says in the obituary, it says about starts to list family members, and then it says like extended family and something about his golf buddies. And I started thinking, who's family? Family are not just the people we're related to through blood or marriage. Family are the people that we connect with, that we let into our lives, that we share our hopes and dreams with, that we go to when the chips are down, that can count on us when they need us, that we celebrate our victories with. That's who family is. So many of you are family, even though you're not legally, or biologically related. You're still family. And you said that last night when I was talking to you about Clark's lovely bride here. You said, oh, he just loved her so much, and you said, what a blessing her and her family have been to our family. And he went on and on about how wonderful, and he said she's family. She's, said she. I don't know exactly how you worded it, but you were very clear about that, and I thought that was beautiful. I mean, it told me that. What it tells me is this. It tells me that Clark knew what was really important in life. That he knew that the true valuable things are not so much the things that we can buy, but the things that we can't put a price on. It's family, it's friends, it's spending time with, whether you're swinging a golf club or taking that back road, that's the stuff that really matters. And from what I gathered, unless no one's jumped in and corrected me yet, so from what I gather, that was what was important to Clark, and that tells me a lot. So it tells me not only did he bring a lot of good into this world, but that his 82 years, 7 months, and 12 days were also they were good ones, because obviously we all have our ups and downs and our struggles as we go through life, but he was able to recognize what really matters and enjoy the people in his life and the time that he had here. And I don't know, I think we can learn a lot of lessons from that. The story, and again, if I get this wrong, but the story that I got this morning was that you guys were bringing his ashes here, right, in a 56 Chevy, and instead of taking the back roads, decided to get on the freeway, and guess what happened? Did anybody see a 56 Chevy here? You did not. And Cheryl told me, you say, I told you so. We can learn, believe it. So really, in my opinion, a truly successful life isn't based on the things that we tend to measure success by, like how much money we make or what kind of trophies we win. A successful life is, in my opinion, the goal is that we leave this world a better place than we found it. And we do that by the relationships that we have with people. And I know for a fact that Clark left this world a much better place than it was when he showed up here some 82 years and 7 months and however many days now than it was ago. But and that's something to be thankful for, and that's something to recognize and to celebrate. And last quick point is that we're not only here to celebrate his life here on earth, but also the life that I believe he's experiencing today. Thank you. I'm not here to preach to you, and I'm not here to tell you what I think you should or shouldn't believe when it comes to matters of religion or faith or spirituality, but I will tell you quite clearly that I believe that today Clark he's healthier and stronger and more vibrant than he ever was, even in his best days here on earth. One of the things he did to make this world a better place is he served his country. He was Navy, right? Mm-hmm. United States Navy. That's why we have the flag up there, and that's why we'll be going to Fort Snelling later on today. And I like to think about this, that whatever we talk about, our prime, being in our prime. I think that whatever form we're going to find ourselves in, I don't know if we're going to look like this or what, but I think that today he's in better shape than he was the day that he got out of basic training. You know, that he's perfect, and he can't get sick, and he can't get old, break down, wear out. He can't get hurt, and he's reunited with his loved ones that have passed on before him. What you're doing now, he's had to do that many times. A lot of you have done it right alongside him. He's had to go to funerals, and you know, there's people that he loved and cared about that he had to go through that grieving process, and he missed them a lot, and he's not missing them anymore. And ultimately, I think that this heaven is gonna far surpass anything we could imagine. I think it's gonna be more beautiful, more spectacular, more amazing than the best thing we've ever experienced here on earth. And if there is, you know, that hopefully, as we, you know, hopefully it's kind of an automatic thing that we wind up there, because otherwise he's probably still on his way on the back road somewhere. but you know, the day will come that you guys will see him again, and when you do, this won't matter anymore, and you can travel those blue highways of heaven for all eternity. So I got to wrap up my portion here because I'm taking more than my fair share of time, but I just want to let you guys know that I really am honored, and I mean that. I'm honored to be here today. I know what an important and sacred time this is for your family, and I appreciate the opportunity to participate. So we have another song that we're going to listen to, and then after that I'm going to call up these folks that are going to come and share. But while the song plays, what I would like to encourage you to do is think a little bit more, like I said earlier, about who Clark was to you, and then maybe just take a moment to give up a word of thanks for what he's brought into your life, for the fact that he continues to be part of your life through those memories, and the fact that the day will come that we'll be able to see him again.
To the old rugged cross.
So if I had my notes right, the people that are going to speak here today would be Roy, Steve, and Mike. Is that right? And so I know you wanted to go last. So I'm going to find out if Mike or Steve, which one of you guys want to go first? I'm assuming you're right there. I'm looking at you. Why don't you come on?
Hi, everybody. Hello, thanks for coming to celebrate my dad's life. I just wanted to say one thing is my dad was, he didn't go to church with us. Mom brought us to church. And I think he was mad at God for the longest time ever since his dad died. And that's the only verse I just want to say. It's my grandfather's favorite verse. And it reminds me so much of Dad. That's how he lived his life. And that's somebody that, when I got in trouble, he was there, right there, to take care of it, even if I was guilty. And my grandfather's favorite verse, and Dad lived this, so I don't know what his favorite verse was, but this is Psalms 121. I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. And thanks for letting me speak. I just wanted to put that out there.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you.
You know, Clark was such a charismatic guy, and I'll make it real brief. You know, there's his life testimony was really amazing, and I thought of what would be the best way to perhaps say it and express it. There's a favorite author of mine who has a phrase that goes something like this: what would you say or do if you weren't afraid? And that's really something to ponder on. And what I'm saying about Clark is that he had that joy and he didn't leave anything unexpressed. He was a talker, yes, but he was a hugger too. And those kinds of things are important. And so you need to, I think when people pass, the kind of thing is, it's not the regrets for the mistakes they made. It's for the regrets for the things they didn't do. And Clark was exuberant. He lived life every day fully. And so I appreciate that we had the countdown of the years and the days and even the hours. And I also thought of this particular saying. It's a favorite that I think applies to Clark. He believed in living every minute by loving without limit. Thank you.
Nice job. Very well put. Thank you.
All right. Guess I gotta follow that. Boy, that was excellent.
I have complete confidence and faith in you, sir.
I got this. Well, thank you everybody for being here today. It's definitely from our families, just showing the love that he had out there. Dad was loved by everybody, and I can just see just the love here today. And thank you. Dad was a adventurous type, like we were talking. He would always take that road less traveled. I'm going to pick up the dust now. And so he always loved taking those side roads, seeing the new things that were offered, and what God had given us in creation, just to see the beauty of it. Dad was so proud of his grandkids. And his great-grandkids, he just loved them to death. I know that, and because he kept talking about it. And but my kids also known him as Papa Pizza, and you can look up there. We got a thing up there called Papa Pizza, and that was due to when after Ma passed, he would come over every Thursday with Little Caesar's pizza because they were $5. We all know that. Cheap guy. Anyway, but he would always come over and just to spend time with his grandkids and us, the family. He also loved the extended family. I mean, I don't know who adopted who, but, you know, with Uncle Ron and Uncle Dick and, you know, along with their family, I mean, like he was saying, it's a family of love. It doesn't have to be blood, but it was love. And we feel so blessed as a family to have all of these people in our lives. And I just thank you. And after Mom died, Dad really started to play a lot of golf. He loved the game so much that, you know, he just basically was golfing 4 days a week. He just took a couple days off because he had to do laundry. Well, then after a while, about 10 years later, Cheryl comes along. After dating, well, I think they did. They got married on July 13th of 1996. And now our family just grew. Now he has his summer family here in Minnesota and his winter family down in Arizona. And he's got the best of everything right there. Well, here's one of them, like Lisa down in Arizona, always called him Clarky. And always would make those peanut brittle. He loved that peanut brittle. You think he would hang on to it for me and share it? No, he would tuck it, put away, so you get your own. This is made for me. Well, he was, you know, he was also, you know, I also want to, I'm so thankful for Michael, Sherry, Lisa, and Mary. He just loved them just here. I mean, it's just great family. The family is so big here now. So they loved my dad so much, and they just called him Dad. And I also want to just say one thing here. Cheryl, you have been a blessing to Dad. Our family. You made Dad's life best. I love you, Mom. And so really, that's all I have to say, but you know, after the service, we're gonna have a thing at our house. So please, if you don't know the address, we'll have it back there. Thank you.
I know I haven't gotten to talk to each of you, but you and so many people on this earth have been so loving and so caring and have touched our lives, his life, in so many ways. God has answered so many prayers, and to this day, those prayers, I literally can feel the warmth and the love going through my body, and if I have to pause a moment and take a deep breath, I'm just sucking in all that love from God and everybody. And there have been some bumps in the road, even with our plans for this. He is laughing his butt off. He's even saying, I told you so, and why the heck did you do that? But it is what it is, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful person. There are no words. He had gone golfing on Saturday. We went to church Saturday evening. He went golfing on Sunday, qualified for a tournament, and he was just so excited and so happy. He just was gone in an instant, like he wanted to go. And let me tell you, each and every person that he ever met in his life, or that was his family or extended family, blood didn't matter a bit. We all, each and every one of us now have our own special guardian angel in heaven, and will forever. And he is just reuniting with everybody. He's having a few laughs because he thinks this is funny. He's just soaking it all in his true fashion. So just thank you to everybody. I can't thank you enough. And you all know that he's here with us today, and not just in that box. In fact, he isn't even in that box. We won't talk about that. There's all sorts of stories about that, which we're never going to tell because it's, well, never mind. Anyway, he's loving the laughter. That's the way he wants to be remembered, and thanks to everybody. Thank you, thank you.
Nice job. You know, you can clap if you want to. Church or something, there you go. You can definitely clap. So, in a moment, we got another song we're going to listen to as we close. I'm going to do a little closing prayer here in a moment. I'll lead us in a short prayer. We'll say the Lord's Prayer together, and then we're going to sit and listen to our last song. And then after that, so there will be, you said there's a gathering at your house. And so, folks, if you have time, go there when we're all done. We're going to go to Fort Snelling in a little while. I'll tell you about that in a second. But go over there, enjoy each other's company, have a bite to eat, catch up with someone you haven't seen for a while, maybe meet somebody else from another part of Clark's life, and just continue to celebrate his life together as family and friends, because he definitely deserves it, and you won't regret it. If you had other plans, just change them, show up. I did want to say real quick, and as far as Fort Snelling is concerned, if you want to come out for there's going to be, of course, the military honors out there, and we're not going in a procession. We're going to meet out there, which, there won't be an escort or whatever. So what you want to do is, I believe it's 12:15 we're scheduled for, so you want to try to be there by noon. You got to be there 15 minutes early. And in order to find the spot that we're gathering at, when you get to the cemetery, make sure if you're going to Google it or something, go Fort Snelling Cemetery, not the park, not the historic site, or the cemetery on 34th Avenue off 494. And when you get there, don't go in the main entrance. Drive right past it, and there'll be big signs that'll say all funerals and assembly areas or something like that straight ahead. Just follow those signs. Go down a little ways, there'll be another sign that tells you basically if you're going to a service, you're going to want to turn in at that point. So you turn into, and the gate that you turn into is gate number 2, but if you follow the signs, it's self-explanatory. And once you turn in, on your left-hand side, there's a series of streets. They're called assembly areas, and they are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you go to the one also that's number 2. So you go into gate 2, go to assembly 2, drive down to the end of that. It'll be self-explanatory. It's where people line up and wait. And that's just a holding area. You don't even have to get out of your car. We just wait there, and when the cemetery staff's ready, they'll come do some paperwork with the good folks from here, and then they'll lead us over to the shelter where we have the service. But so if you want to go and try to be at Fort Snelling National Cemetery at noon, gate 2, assembly area 2. And so I just wanted to say 2 quick things. You mentioned this to me actually about how you said he would call just to say sometimes that just call up to say, hey, what are you doing? I'm just calling to say I love you, And I was telling you on the phone that day that I get people a lot of times will tell me, Dad really loved us. I mean, he didn't know how to say it, or he couldn't express it, and they always chalk it up to, he's German, he's Norwegian, he's a Swede. He couldn't, didn't ever say it. And that's okay, some people can't, but it's really an awesome thing that he could and that he did, because it's important. And you, sir, said something basically along the same lines that it's, we're not going to regret the things that we did, which are going to be more the things that we didn't do. And we never know what tomorrow holds, and we need to tell the people around us that we love them. We need to embrace each other. We need to forgive each other when necessary. We need to make time for each other and enjoy each other, because we just never know when either we'll be gone or the person that we care about has passed on already. And you said something about, you told me on the phone, Cheryl, about how back in the day that he was kind of angry with God pretty much, which is a reasonable place to be when you go through things. If you read those Psalms, you see people all the time that are, God's a big boy, and I'm sure he can take it just fine. But you talked about how later on, he was able to make peace with, you and your family. And there's this text that I was going to read earlier, and then I didn't. But now I feel like I should, and it's from the book of John, chapter 11, but it says, those that believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. I love it for what it says, but I also like it for what it doesn't say. If you notice, it doesn't say he that goes to church every Sunday, that has all the right answers, that goes to the right church, that memorizes the Bible. It doesn't say any of that stuff. It just says those that believe in me will never die. And we know our bodies are temporary things. There's no question about it. But I truly believe that with all my heart that he's doing spectacular. And I believe you're right. I think he's laughing. He's, but anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. I got a little poem that I have with me that I thought would be nice. Basically, it's along the same lines of the fact that we don't know what tomorrow holds. And, sometimes this happens, someone dies unexpectedly. Sometimes we know what's coming. We might even be there when it happens. But when it's all said and done, either way, for me personally, there are 2 things that always happen. A, I wish I had more time with him. And I know it sounds like I'm stating the obvious, but what I'm saying is, sometimes I think, boy, if we could just do that thing that we never got around to doing, or do that thing that we always used to do one more time, or just talk for a half hour. And that would be wonderful, but if you were granted that wish right now with Clark, when that was done, we'd be right back where we started, and you just want to do it again. You know, so there's no easy way to go through this, but it's about appreciating every moment that we do have together. And the second thing that happens for me is it helps me to prioritize things. And you know, I have the same, like you guys, I got drama and stress at home and at work, and I got bills that aren't getting paid on time, and I got, you know, the day-to-day struggles that everybody deals with. And sometimes I got the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I really get down and depressed. And if I'm going through one of those times, and all of a sudden someone I love and care about dies, whatever my giant problem was yesterday doesn't even seem to hit the radar screen at all, you know? I wish that's all I had to worry about. My point is that today's the day. We know that we have each other, and we need to really embrace that and live life as best as possible while we've got the chance. So this is a poem. It's called Don't Wait Too Late. And we'll read this, and then we're going to pray. It says, if you will give a smile, give it now. If you will send flowers, send them now. If you will speak kind words, speak them now. If you would write a letter, write it now. For those we love will not be with us long, and we may be gone before they pass away. So don't assume they know we care, show them. Don't let love be silent, speak. Words unsaid, deeds not done, will never dry tears, calm fears, or brighten years. So don't wait to do what should be done now, for the right thing can never be done when it's too late. Let's bow our heads and pray, shall we? God, we thank you again for Clark. We thank you for all of the lives that he touched, for the people that were fortunate enough to find him in their path. We thank you for laughter and love and good times and just all the things that made him the unique individual that he was. And we pray once again that you would give strength to all those that are missing him wherever they might be. Give them whatever they need to get through this. And may we all realize that each day that we have is a gift. We do not know what tomorrow holds. So help us to love and appreciate each other, make time for each other, and celebrate our own lives together while we have the chance. Until the day comes that we are reunited with Clark and our other loved ones in your kingdom for all time. So we pray all of these things in your name, as we pray together the prayer that you yourself taught us to pray, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord be kind and gracious unto you, and may the Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. And real quick, I understand that we're live streaming. There's people on the other end of that tablet right there. Where are these people at? Is this all over? So there's people all over the place that are watching this. So it's not so. Hello, people on the tablet there. You know, thank you for being here. So I think we covered it, Fort Snelling and all that stuff. So you got one more thing? All right. So I'll let you wrap this up, and then I'll have the funeral directors come up. But we do have the song we're going to listen. You want to do it? You say your thing after the song, or do you want to do it now?
Probably right after the song.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and listen to the song now, and then you can come up and say a few words.
Daily than the the spoken word can tell. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dear, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. I heard there's a wicked war and the taste of war I know so very well. Even now I see the foreign flag raise, their guns on fire as we sail into hell. I have no fear of death, it brings no sorrow, but how bitter will be this last farewell. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. Though death and darkness gather all about me, and my ship be torn apart upon the sea, I shall smell again the fragrance of these eyes in the heaving waves that brought me once to thee. And shall I return safe home again to England, I shall watch the English mist roll through the dead. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell.
Well, that last song right there was chosen by my dad, actually. It was one of his favorites. So, Tim. Tammy, well, Tim, come on up here. Come on. What can I say?
There's a story.
There's a story behind it. And it's been a running joke in the family about this cowbell.
Laughing his butt off.
And I told him that when he did pass at one time, he said, make sure Tammy gets that bell. And I said, well, there's going to be another thing. She's going to ring it. And there you go, Tammy. It's yours. Carry on.
Tammy, you hang on to it.
Okay, listen, you guys, thank you once again. God bless you. I, of course, I will be at the cemetery. I'll just meet you guys there. But I want all of you in this room to know that I will keep you in my prayers. I may not know who you are by name, but God knows, and I will pray for Clark's loved ones. And if there's anything that I can do for any of you, I know the two of you have my phone number, and you're welcome to give it to anybody else. So thank you again, and God bless all of you. And Brianna, do you, and I'm gonna turn it over to Brianna here real quick from Wolf. But, oh, yeah, and there's address, I guess, to the house for the lunch, and I believe maps maybe for Fort Hill here.